everybody, and welcome back to Screen Stars, and welcome to a very special video. Now this is a video that I've been wanting to make for the longest time. The Witcher 3 is my favourite game of all time, simply put. It's a game now that I am currently on my third playthrough. I am about 50 hours into my third playthrough, and I bought this game when it first released in 2015 on PlayStation 4, and it's the first game that I remember being completely hyped for before it was released. And I mean, I was really immersed in this world before the game was released. I watched all the trailers, all the footage from all the YouTube channels that were showing all this footage about this game that was coming out. It looked amazing, it looked fantastic. I'd not played any of the other Witcher games because the second Witcher game was PC exclusive, I believe. I never played it, and the second one was just released on Xbox 360, and I didn't have an Xbox 360 for the longest time. So Witcher 3 was my first experience of these games, but I love RPGs, I love the fantasy genre. It just looked incredible from everything leading up to the game. However, as a gamer, especially these days, but even at that time, I remember thinking it can't be as good as all this gameplay footage is showing. All these things that people are saying about this game, it can't be as good as what they're saying. It's gonna be a disappointment on some level. And then when it came out and I played the game, it's the first game I can ever remember exceeding my expectations. It was the most immersive game I've ever played in my life. It consumes you, this game. The writing is so good, and it's such a beautifully crafted game and a beautifully crafted world. I lost myself in this game, and every time you play this game you kind of rediscover aspects of it, or take a slightly different route than you did before, or do it in a different order than you did before. It's continually remaining fresh as this game, and I certainly remember playing it at the time, just being completely blown away with how this game could be as good as it was. I mean, it's the most beautiful game I've ever seen. Graphically, there are other games out there that are superior to this, but just the lighting, the skyboxes, the graphics, it all works. And this was after what was supposedly a graphical downgrade, and by that I mean when it was the first videos that were shown of this game early on, showed it to be far better in the graphical department, and then when it was released, it was, you know, there was some kind of graphical downgrade. Well, if this was downgrade, my goodness, I just was stunned by how beautiful this game looks. And if you play this game and you've never played it before, you'll find yourself just at times riding around on Roach, your horse, just looking at the beauty of the world, just standing at the edge of a cliff and looking across, or riding across a bridge and stopping to look at the streams, standing on a beach and watching the sunset. There's so many beautiful moments in this game. You will find yourself literally taking photo after photo, just to capture that moment and that feeling you had at that time when you played the game. For this game, I don't want this video kind of to be a review. This is more of an in-depth critique or a retrospective look back at the game, or a Witcher discussion. I'm not really sure how to describe this video. I wanted to put something out there to relay my feelings on this game, and the recent Netflix TV show that has renewed everybody's interest in this game, which is wonderful news, certainly for me, and probably many other Witcher fans. it just felt right that I had to do this video, because I've been wanting to do it for so long, but I didn't know how I could do this game justice. If I was to review this game, it would be a flat out 10 out of 10, and that's not to say this game is perfect, because it isn't. I mean, for a game as ambitious and vast as this, it comes with its share of glitches, and things like that. I mean, I do remember at the time when it first came out, before all the patches and things, there was a lot of glitches, and quite a lot of missions wouldn't work, and it would freeze and occasionally crash. And now, I mean, almost 5 years later after its release, it is polished beyond belief, this game, and you will probably play this game and have a pretty much a bug glitch free experience, barring an occasional one, which is good news. And this game as well now is so cheap to pick up. You can get the Game of the Year edition, which has the 2 incredible expansions, Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine, which on their own merits, those 2 expansions add at least another 40 hours to your gaming experience, potentially more, depending on how much of a completionist you are. Now, this game invites you to explore. It's not just go here, do this, talk to this person, fetch this, like many other RPGs that become fetch quests. This game puts so much effort on, not only on the main missions, which is fantastic in its own right, but these secondary quests, the side missions, in some ways are better than the main quest. I mean, there's so many. I mean, you may well have heard of the Bloody Baron storyline. There's so many great side quests. There's no way I could list them all here. The biggest problem you will have with this game, if you want to look at it as a problem, is you might be going from A to B, and then you'll see a few question marks on the map, and you'll think, well, I want to go and see what that is, and you'll end up going there, and it might be some hidden treasure, or a bandit camp, or someone in distress, or a treasure hunt, or whatever. It could be any number of things, and those on their own right are interesting enough, to say the least. But you've got treasure hunts, and by that you can go looking for new Witcher gear. Now, I've got to the point in this game on my 3rd playthrough where I will not wear anything but Witcher gear. So I go on these treasure hunts, and I find you'll find feline or wolf gear, or cat, you've got all this different kind of Witcher gear that you can treasure hunt, and then you'll take it to craftsmen and blacksmiths, and they will make you the outfits and the swords, and as you level up, you'll be able to get more powerful sets of Witcher gear, and each one has a different look than the last, and they're really cool to look at. So I've got to the stage now where I won't wear anything but the Witcher gear, whereas on my first 2 playthroughs, it was programmed into me from former RPGs that if the stat says it's better than the last thing you're wearing, you just wear it. Whereas now I won't. I won't wear it if it's slightly better than the Witcher gear I've got on. I will go and treasure hunt a better set of Witcher gear and get that crafted and made. Now, the only trouble is that Witcher gear is expensive, so you have to make sure you've got plenty of coin. So you have to, loot everything that you can find, and then sell it for a profit to all the shopkeepers around the game. Now, as mentioned here, the side quests are vast and plentiful and really engaging. So you'll find yourself, you might decide you're going to go on this quest, you're going to carry on with the main storyline, so you're travelling from A to B, and then you'll get drawn into an exclamation mark on the map, a yellow one, and that will lead you to a new quest. So you'll start down that quest line, side quest line, and then as you're going down that, you'll pick up a few more question marks on the map, and you'll see what they are. So it might you might get drawn down a different path that will take you on another 3 or 4 hour journey of side quests and treasure hunting and things like that, and before you know it, you're thinking, oh, I was supposed to be doing this main mission, and you completely lose track. You lose yourself in the game, and you've lost 5 hours of absolute fun and enjoyment doing these side quests and treasure hunts and exploring on the map. And it's so beautifully done. It's a joy to travel around the world. I mean, there is a fast travel option in this game. It's fairly poorly designed in a sense of you have to be at like a marker on the map to fast travel to another marker on the map. But I certainly find myself, depending on how far it is to travel, just going on horseback for the most part, because you never know what you're going to find. You might find a surprise on the map, a mission that's not marked on the map. It'll just turn up as you walk it, as you're traveling through. You'll discover new things, you'll see new things, and the game's so beautiful. It's such a great part of the game, the exploration part of it. Now, as a Witcher as well, you will find yourself, for much of this game, doing Witcher contracts. Now, Geralt of Rivia is a Witcher, clearly, and he has been mutated so that he can, he's got all the abilities that he needs to track and kill monsters. Now, he will do that, but he will do it for a price, and as you walk around, you'll see notice boards, and if they're yellow, that means there's usually 1 or 2 contracts or missions on that notice board. You pick it up, and then you will go to the person that's put that contract up, and it will usually lead to some investigation and hunt and killing of a monster. And there's the monsters are vast in this game. Anything from drowners to vampires to werewolves to ghosts, wraiths. There's literally a huge array of monsters to hunt and kill in this game. So you will undertake this contract, and then you've got Witcher sensors which will allow you to investigate. And some of these investigations lead down a very, very different path. Some of them are quite standard in the sense of you'll investigate, you'll find out where the creature is, and then you've got alchemy in the game, and you've got these potions in the game. Now you need to go into these battles depending on what level you play the game at. If you're playing it on a harder difficulty, you need to go into these battles with these monsters well prepared, and by that I mean you need to put the right oils on your swords to battle that creature, because there are certain oils that will give you an advantage. There's certain potions you need to take that will give you some kind of immunity to that creature if you're injured, make you a little bit more powerful to fight that creature. So there's all these potions you need to find and upgrade, and by that you need to pick all these flowers, buy new ingredients from shops, mix them together, and improve that side of the game. So it's very, very in depth in that sense as well. Now if you just play it on the easy difficulty, if you just want to play this for the story aspect, you don't really need to worry about that side of it too much. But if you really want to immerse yourself in the full experience, play it on a higher difficulty level, and that will mean that you're going to have to be fully prepared when you go into these battles. And this game doesn't hold your hand. You need to read up on these creatures, because you were given that in your bestiary, that it gives you information about all the creatures, and if you read that, it will give you clues as to what potions you need, and what oils you might need on your sword and things like that, in order to be able to fight this creature and give you an advantage in fighting this creature. The game itself is vast. This open world game is so vast and so beautifully created. You'll be in Novigrad and Velen to start with, and then it sections itself out to Skellige, Kaer Morhen. You've got all these other places you can visit, and certainly Velen, Novigrad and Skellige are vast areas for you to explore. And also the expansion, the Blood and Wine expansion, where you go to a place called Tucson is a whole new place that allows you to have another 30 hours plus of gameplay, and it's a completely new environment. It looks different. It's different flowers, different flora. The armor that people wear is different. It feels completely different. It's almost like France in the summertime. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. So there's so much time and effort gone into this game to make it something special when you play it. Now, I've seen quite over the years people critique the combat in this game. Now, I've always actually found the combat to be really quite enjoyable for the most part. Yes, it's simple. You've got a quick slash and a strong strike, but you've also got your Witcher powers to use. You've got your Igni and your Ard to be able to give you an advantage in a fight. You can set people on fire, you can control the mines, you can do all these different things as well. You've got a crossbow that you can use, you've got a steel sword for human foes and a silver sword for the monsters and things like that. So you've got all these different ways of fighting enemies, and there's also a really cool thing, whereas it will randomly choose like executions. There's like a slowdown where you'll see him, Geralt, take out the bad guys in slow-mo, and he'll do decapitations and all sorts, or chop somebody clean in half. It's really, really cool to look at. So to finish here talking about this game, because I haven't really had a script or anything. I just wanted to talk about this game and how much this game means to me, and definitely implore anybody who hasn't played The Witcher 3 to try it, because it's a modern masterpiece. I can't wait for CD Projekt Red's next game, which is Cyberpunk 2077, which is out this year. I'm stupidly excited for that game, but even then I don't think it's going to surpass my feelings for this game. That I'm sure it's going to be brilliant, but from my perspective this game is perfect. I can't give you faults with it. Yes, you'll play it and there'll be an odd bug here and there. Yes, you'll play it and there'll be certain things that will annoy you about it. Maybe you don't like the combat, maybe you don't like the fast travel system, but it's a game where you're given choices. There are consequences to those choices. It's beautifully written, the storylines are top notch, and it's a superbly written game, and it's one I can't recommend highly enough. So Witcher 3, a masterpiece, simply put, a true gaming masterpiece, and one that I strongly recommend you check out if you have never played this game.